Hey folks, welcome to lesson 1.8a. We are going to do our video today. We've got a 4-blocker, we've got an independent practice sheet that we'll be working on. So I'm going to have you go ahead and get started here on setting up your paper. We're going to do our review questions up here, our pause problems over here, and then a 4-blocker, and you'll have an extra space down here, so if you need to spread out a little bit, you can, because I'm going to have you upload the worksheet for Independent Practice 1.8a from Notability, or if you want to print it out, you can do that as well. Alrighty then. Let's get rolling here. Here's review questions today. Go ahead and pause the video and take a shot at these. Okie dokie. Let's see how we did. Danny had 35 pairs of shoes in all. He had 5 pairs of sandals, 15 pairs of various dress shoes, plus T stands for the tennis shoes, would equal 35. Got an order of operations problems here. Let's just run through these. You have to do the parentheses first. That would be 2 times 7 minus 3 squared. Exponent next. 2 times 7 minus 9. Multiplication, 14 minus 9, 5. This is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. This is not 12. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Got to count them out with my fingers and make sure I got it right. That's 81. All right. This one, tough. Do everything in the top, do everything in the bottom, and then we'll divide. All right. So up top, got to go inside the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we do have when you get inside the parentheses, you have to follow the exponent, do the exponent first. So 3 squared is 9 minus 3 plus 4. And we still have to stay in the parentheses, and 9 minus 3 is 6 plus 4. Now we can add, we've got 10. Down in the bottom, we just have 2 plus 3. So now we have 10 over 5, or 10 divided by 5, which is 2. All right. Go ahead and let you watch the video, and when we're done, I'll be back, and we will run through our lesson for the day. Hey Valley Middle, welcome back to another math lesson. Tonight we're going to be working with the distributive property. Before we do that, let's get going with our trivia question of the day. Who are these guys? Fun group of guys. I'll give you the answer to that tonight after our instruction. Officially tonight our target is I can use a distributive property to rewrite expressions. Let's do this thing. 2 important words we got to start with here tonight. First of all, evaluate. Evaluate means to solve something, give the answer to it. Distribute means to pass out. Now tonight, we're going to do some evaluating, we're going to do some distributing, and we're going to distribute and we're going to pass out a number. Just like Johnny Rotten, if I ask him to distribute some papers, he would pass them out. The distributive property works the same way. Take a look at this problem here. 4 times the quantity of 3 plus 2. Now, order of operations says you do the parentheses first, right? So you'd have 4 times 5. You add these together first. And then 4 times 5 is 20. That's 4 groups of 5. Here they are. It's a crude picture, but it works. Well, we can also distribute out that 4. Instead of taking the 4 times the 5, we can pass it out. We can say, I'm going to take 4 times 3, and I'm going to add that to 4 times 2. So 4 times 3, here's 4 groups of 3, that's 12. And then 4 times 2, 4 groups of 2, that's 8. We still get the same answer of 20. But we're rewriting it using the distributive property. Why would you ever want to do this? Sometimes it makes problems easier. Sometimes when you get into 7th and 8th grade, you have some variables or letters thrown in here, like an A, which means you can't add these two together, but you can distribute it out and break it down further. So we're just getting you ready for some of those harder things. And so let's just take a look at another problem here. Same problem. Here is 3 times a quantity of 2 plus 3. Now the way you would evaluate this, written in this form, you do the 2 plus 3 first, which is 5, and take the 3 times 5, and you have your 15. In the same problem, I could take and distribute out this 3. I could say I'm going to take the 3 times 2 and get 6. I could take the 3 times 3 and get 9, and I could add those together and get 15. same answer, okay? Written different ways. Sometimes it's faster to work with this. Sometimes it's faster to break apart. Sometimes I can't do this in my head, but I can do this in my head. And there's another reason why it's important to know how to rewrite these. So let's take a look at a problem here and look at some of the different ways that we maybe would rewrite this. So here's this problem here, 5 times 3 plus 2. So we could rewrite it this way. Instead of putting the times sign, we could use brackets. We could say 5 times 3 plus 5 times 2, or these two lines are exactly the same. Get how it has some different looks to it, and I'll talk more about that in our math lesson that follows this, or just all the different ways that this could be rewritten. Ultimately it ends up in the exact same problem, but I just used parentheses instead of multiplication sign there. All right, let's start off with rewriting. Let's see if you can take and rewrite this expression by distributing out the 6. You're going to go from one set of parentheses to 2 sets of parentheses. All right, think about that. It's not a pause problem. I'm going to do it for you. So here it is. I distribute out the 6. 6 times 10 is 6 times 2, and it's plus in the middle, so the plus comes down here. Now, if I asked you to evaluate it, we could do that too, but we focus kind of on our primary target being rewriting. Evaluate it, we could have 60. We've got 12, and we add those together. And of course, we have 72. If I can get my screen to go down. There it is. All right, I'm going to have you try your first pause problem. I want you to do the same thing here. See if you can rewrite it. If you can rewrite it with 2 sets of parentheses and you want to try evaluating it, that would be awesome. But at least let's get it rewritten. Okay, let's see how you did. Okay, here's the 5 times the 14. Here's the 5 times the 3. And then we have to subtract, because that's what they're doing here inside the parentheses. They're going to subtract. If you went through and evaluated it, you would have had 55. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Now, here we have 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to see if you can rewrite it with 1 set of parentheses. Go ahead and give that a shot. Okay, this one's a yellow one. I'm going to do it for you. Let's take a look here. Well, the 7 is the number that repeats, so that would go outside the set of parentheses, and then we're going to take the 2 and the 3 and put it in, and this is adding, so we're going to add them. So again, the 7 is the repeated number. That's the one we're going to pass out, so we put that out front. The 2 and the 3 go inside, and it's an addition problem, so we put the addition sign in. And of course, you can probably figure out very quickly that that's going to be 35 if you evaluate it. Let's have you try one as a pause problem, so officially here. Here's a problem with 2 sets of parentheses. See if you can rewrite it with 1. Go ahead and evaluate it if you want. Okay, if we rewrite that, the 5 is the digit that is going repeated, so that's the one that we're going to distribute out by putting it out front. Here's the 2 and here's the 3. 5 times 2 plus 3, well, that's really the same as 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, 3 more. See if you can rewrite these problems using the distributive property. Go ahead and pause the video. Well, if you rewrite this one, the 3 repeats, so you could write 3 times 4. I use the brackets like this, and 3 times 5. Same thing. You have a plus in the middle. I guess I wrote it out that way as well. You can see either way is fine. Okay, in this one here, the 4 is the number that is being repeated. So if you rewrite that, the 4 would go out front, and then the 4 and the 6 go in the middle, and here's a plus sign, so that's 4 plus 6. And you notice I didn't use brackets on this one, because order of operations would say we'd have to do this first here, and then this, right? And then we do the addition. So you don't really need them, but I can distribute that 8 out and put it here as 8 times 3 plus 5. Now you're going to notice these little arrows that I put all the time. That's to help me remember that when I do this, I'm going 3 times 4 plus 3 times 5. And when I have an answer that way, I can break it down by going 8 times 3, 8 times 5. I highly suggest you put those in. I've been putting them in for, how long have I been doing algebra? Well, I'm 25, so that makes about 12 years. Okay, let's make it more like about 45 years I've been doing this. Okay, time for your ticket to the show. Rewrite these two problems using the distributive property and go ahead and evaluate them if you can. All right, who are these guys? Should I get my daughter to come over and explain who they are? Let's have her do that. Come on over, Tara. You ready to identify who these people are? Can you get in? There she is. Say hi.
Hi.
Who are these guys?
Oh my gosh, it's Dude Perfect.
Dude Perfect. These guys are YouTubers, and they're pretty funny. If you like trick shots, funny sports things, if you like watching, guys in that 28 to 35-year-old range compete against one another and fight and do dumb things, you'd like Dude Perfect. Try Dude Perfect Overtime 1. That's what I would suggest to start with if you like it. So they're pretty funny. All right. Take care. Bye. Hey folks, I hope you got your pause problems and ticket to the show done all right. You got a pretty good flavor of the distributive property. Just to emphasize how important this property is, a few years back, a friend of mine who writes questions for the Minnesota MCA test told me that 15% of the questions on the 6th grade MCA dealt with the distributive property. Think about that. Massive. One target, 15%. All right, let's quick review. Distribute means to pass out. So we could take 3 times 2 plus 3, and we could just rewrite that as 3 times 2 plus 3 times 3. And you'll notice I keep moving my cursor, moving the arrows. And we could work through all of these problems. And let's just let you take a quick second to take a look at some of those examples. All right. Just different way of writing this one, 3 times 2 plus 5. But we can still take the 3 times 2 plus 3 times the 5. All right. And we'll take a look at some other ways we can rewrite that as well. I like this slide here. I'm kind of a math and a visual person, so I think about it this way. You're going to take something that is multiplied by a group here of 1 parentheses. You're going to break it down and rewrite that with 2 sets of parentheses. Or you're going to take 2 sets of parentheses and you're going to break it down and write it with 1 set of parentheses and have something distributed out. Okay? So take a look at that for a minute. We're either going to go from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1. All right, now if all goes right in a perfect world, when I click this, something really cool is going to happen. So get ready to ooh and ah. Oh, wait. Ooh, ah, there we go. All right, so I just put in some examples here. Here's the 4. We're distributing it out. 4 times 3, 4 times 2. Instead of distributing it out, I can write it out this way. Pass it out. Okay, 4 times 3, 4 times 2. I've got 2 sets of parentheses. I can just rewrite that this way as well. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time. That's our goal. That's what you're going to be tested on right there. Can you go from 1 set to 2 sets and rewrite it? All right, let's see something. Oh, you know what? Let me just click here one more time. Yep, we're good. Make sure you can see that as well. All right, so let's do some practicing here. We've got this thing here, 3 times a 2 plus 1, and we're going to rewrite that. Now, oftentimes kids confuse this with evaluating, and when they evaluate these 3 problems, these are what you get right here. So take a look at that for a minute. However, the first step in evaluating is not rewriting. This is what we're really looking to do. Take this with 1 set of parentheses and rewrite it over here. So, well, these ones right here, unless we're evaluating it, we don't want this. This is not what we want. First, we're going to rewrite it. Then we're going to evaluate it. Okay? I know you can probably evaluate it this way, but tonight we're going to rewrite first. That's the most important. And then Actually, that's all we're going to be quizzed on is rewriting, but eventually we'll get into rewriting and evaluating. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of examples here. Here's 3 for you to try, just like the ones I just did. Go ahead and give it a shot. Pause the video. Okay, let's see how you did. Well, hopefully you didn't evaluate. Hopefully you rewrote and they look like this here in the flashing box. Okay, take a look at this next group. Now we're going to go from 2 sets of parentheses down to 1 set of parentheses. So 3 times 1 plus 3 times 1. We could just simply rewrite that as 3 times 1 plus 1. Again, here's where we go evaluating, but this is what we want to do first. We want to rewrite. That's the target. All right? This one here, we're going to go from 2 sets. We're going to take this 2 and we're going to put that out front of the set of parentheses. Move the plus sign from the middle into the between, so we have 3 plus 4. So instead of 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4, we're going to take 2 times 3 plus 4. Okay, same way down here. 2 sets of parentheses. The repeated digit comes out front. We've got 1 and 5 in the middle, and it's a plus because we've got a plus here. So it's instead of 2 times 1 plus 2 times 5, we're going to take 2 times 1 plus 5. Okay, time for you to try 3. Go. Yeah, I shook things up a little bit, didn't I? You got some mixed ones. All right, let's see how you did. Okay, you're going to go from 2 sets, parentheses, down to 1. 3 times 1 minus 1. This is basically going to be 0. Okay, this one here, we'll take that 2, we'll put that out front, we'll distribute it out this way. You got 4 minus 3, so instead of 2 times 4 minus 2 times 3, you've got 2 times 4 minus 3. Okay, this one here, 1 set of parentheses, let's pass that 2 out. 2 times 5 minus 2 times 1. Okay, all right. Here are just a few of the ways you could see this property rewritten or written. All of these are different ways of writing basically the same problem. An asterisk is sometimes used once in a while. Parentheses are used for multiplication a lot. Putting the number out here, it still means 3 times 4 plus 3 times 1, or 3 times 4 plus 1. Same thing. The commutative property of multiplication allows us to just take and move this over here. Doesn't matter the order. Here it's broken down in more standard. Here's kind of a bizarre way of writing with all parentheses, and then just various sets of parentheses. So it's kind of goofy, and I'm sure there are other ways as well that this could be written. All right, quick yeah, but what about these here? Take a look. Are you going to get the same answer for all of them? As you probably know, you will, because they're all the same problem. Are you with me? Isn't this kind of cool? All right, in a geeky math way it is. All right, well, we've worked through lots of things. We've worked through the video. We've worked through some review and some guided problems with both pause problems on the video and pause problems here. So time for you to just take and try a for blocker on your own here. You should go ahead and see if you can rewrite these using the distributive property. You notice I didn't ask you to evaluate them, just rewrite. All right, here's your answers. If that looks solid, well, that's great. Here's your homework, your independent practice, I should say. I would like you to take this sheet here, and I've given an example of how I'd like you to do it. You're first going to rewrite and then evaluate or solve. I am going to have you do the other 12 problems on there. There's a total of 14. I've done 2 for you. I've modeled them. I want your work to look just like mine. I'd like you to do one of 2 things. I guess you could do one of 3 things. If you'd like to write this all in your notebook, write the problem and do the rewrite and then the solve, just like I did. Notice how I did separate lines for each of these things. That is fine. That's option 1. Do it in your notebook. Write it all. Option 2, put it into Notability, and then transfer that back over into Schoology. Number 3, print this out and do this. I don't care which one you do. All right. As long as this work is done, and when you're done, make sure that gets uploaded then, along with the video work. You'll have 2 papers. You'll have your review and all of the video work on one, and you'll have this on the other, and you can upload those together. If you do it from Notability, it'll be in 2 separate things. You'll have a picture of one, and you'll have this as another, but we'll be fine. Okay, thanks for listening, and good luck on your quiz. Oh, you probably want the answers. Let's see if you got them right. Just give you the answers. Put it off to the side here. You can get most of them on. Just a quick peek at the top again if you missed the first 2. Could probably just do this too. You can see them all at one time. All right, thanks for listening. Good luck on your quiz.